Margaret sat quietly at her kitchen table, staring at the phone she could barely hear ringing anymore. At 82, she'd gotten used to nodding politely when people spoke, pretending she understood. But inside, she felt more and more alone, cut off from the world she once loved. Then one day, her grandson came to visit. He ran through the door, laughing and shouting her name. But she could only see his smile, not hear his voice. That was the moment Margaret broke down. She whispered to her daughter through tears, "I feel like I'm disappearing." Her daughter assumed it was just age. "We'll get you hearing aids, Mom," she said. But something in Margaret's heart told her there had to be another way, something she could try before resigning herself to expensive devices and a lifetime of frustration. The next morning, her neighbor popped by with a basket of tomatoes and a story. "You know, I thought I was going deaf too," the neighbor said with a knowing smile. "Then I learned it was just earwax. My doctor confirmed it later, but not before I tried this little kitchen remedy. And I could hear again by the next day." Margaret's eyes widened with hope. Could the problem and the solution really be that simple? It turns out for many people the answer is yes. And what worked for Margaret and countless others just might help you hear the world again too. For years, Margaret thought her hearing loss was just part of getting older. After all, isn't that what everyone says? You're 80 now, of course you can't hear like you used to. But what she and so many others didn't realize is that one of the biggest reasons seniors lose their hearing isn't age at all. It's something far simpler and far more fixable. Earwax, that gooey, yellowish stuff you've been trying to clean out of your ears your whole life. Believe it or not, it's actually there to help you. Earwax is your body's natural way of trapping dust and bacteria before they can hurt your ears. It even protects your delicate ear canal from getting too dry or irritated. But here's the problem. Most of us clean it the wrong way. Like Margaret, you may have used cotton swabs every week thinking you were keeping your ears healthy. But what you're really doing is pushing the wax deeper inside where it hardens and clogs your hearing. Doctors see this all the time, and it's one of the most common reversible causes of hearing loss in seniors. The result: voices sound muffled, music is harder to enjoy, and conversations become frustrating. Worst of all, many people assume the problem is permanent, and they stop trying. That's why Margaret's story is so powerful. Once she understood what was really going on, she was able to fix it herself. You see, earwax isn't the enemy, but too much of it stuck in the wrong place can steal the sounds of your life. And the truth is, there are 4 main reasons seniors start to lose their hearing. Some you can do something about, and some you can't. The first is what happened to Margaret: earwax buildup. As we just learned, it's surprisingly common and often completely fixable with a little care. The second is ear infections. They can sneak up on anyone at any age, causing your ears to feel blocked, sore, and muffled. Most infections clear up on their own or with antibiotics from your doctor. Then there's something called sudden hearing loss. This one is scary because it happens fast, sometimes overnight. But even then, about half the people who experience it recover within a week or two, often with simple steroid treatments from a doctor. And finally, there's age-related hearing loss. Unfortunately, this one isn't reversible. It happens because the tiny hair-like cells in your inner ear get damaged over time, often from decades of loud noises or natural aging. But here's the lesson. Just because you're over 60 doesn't mean you should assume it's all downhill from here. Far too many people give up and accept poor hearing without ever checking for simple, treatable causes first. That's why Margaret's story is so inspiring. She didn't settle for silence, and neither should you. When Margaret heard her neighbor mention a kitchen remedy, she was skeptical. After all, she'd spent weeks thinking she'd need hearing aids, maybe even surgery. How could something so simple make a difference? But after one more embarrassing dinner where she smiled through a conversation she couldn't follow, she decided to try. What did she have to lose? Her neighbor brought over everything she needed: 3 fresh garlic cloves, a little olive oil, a dropper, and a small piece of cotton. "You'll want to clean the garlic well," her neighbor explained, "then press it firmly to get as much juice out as possible. Mix that juice with about a teaspoon of olive oil. Shake it up and put it in the dropper." Margaret was still nervous, but the warmth and kindness in her neighbor's voice gave her courage. That night, lying in bed, she tilted her head and let 3 drops of the garlic oil into her ear. She closed it with a little cotton just as instructed, and stayed still for a while to let it soak in. At first, nothing. But the next morning, she noticed something strange. The world seemed sharper. Her grandson's voice didn't sound so faint. The TV wasn't as muffled, and when she checked her ear with a mirror, she noticed a little wax had worked its way out. Encouraged, she repeated the process for 2 more nights. By the 3rd morning, she could hear her own footsteps on the kitchen floor. Later, at her follow-up doctor's appointment, she told her story sheepishly, afraid he'd scold her. But instead, he smiled. "Well, he said garlic oil won't hurt you, and it can certainly help soften wax, so it comes out on its own. What really matters is that you're taking care of your ears and paying attention." Margaret grinned. For the first time in months, she could hear the kindness in his voice loud and clear. Doctors actually know this happens all the time. Earwax or cerumen is good for your ears up to a point. It traps dirt, protects your ear canal, and even has antibacterial properties. But too much of it can block sound and even lead to painful infections. The problem is, most people make it worse by cleaning their ears the wrong way. Cotton swabs, bobby pins, even paper clips, doctors have seen it all. And all of them push wax deeper, making it harder to remove. Instead, experts recommend something much gentler. At home, a few drops of mineral oil, baby oil, or even garlic-infused olive oil can soften the wax and help it work its way out naturally. That's why Margaret's home remedy worked so well. She used just enough oil to loosen the wax, and gravity took care of the rest. If home treatments don't help after a few days, or if you have diabetes or ear pain, doctors advise seeing a professional. They can remove wax safely with tiny tools or flush it out with water. The most important thing is to never ignore changes in your hearing. As Margaret's doctor told her, we can't always fix everything, but we can always make it better if we catch it early. Margaret's story stayed with me long after she told it. It reminded me of my own grandmother, how she slowly withdrew from conversations, embarrassed that she couldn't keep up, quietly convincing herself it was just part of getting old. We tend to underestimate just how much hearing means to us. It's more than just sound. It's laughter shared across a dinner table. It's the joy of hearing your favorite song. It's the comfort of your grandchild's little voice saying, "I love you." When we lose that even a little, it's easy to feel isolated. But Margaret's journey taught me, and I hope it teaches you too, that hearing loss doesn't always have to mean defeat. Don't assume it's just your age. Earwax buildup, infections, or sudden hearing loss can all be reversible if treated properly. Don't wait to ask for help. Whether it's trying a safe home remedy or seeing a doctor, taking action early makes a big difference. And don't give up on yourself. Margaret could have sat quietly and accepted her silence. Instead, she tried one more thing. And in doing so, she reconnected to the world around her. That's what aging gracefully really means. Keeping the parts of yourself that matter, your connections, your dignity, your joy. So before you settle for silence, check your ears. Ask your doctor. Try the safe remedies that have worked for others. Because you deserve to hear every laugh, every word, every memory that life still has to offer. I'll never forget the look on Margaret's face the day her grandson's laughter finally reached her ears again. It wasn't just about the sound, it was about belonging, about feeling alive again. And you deserve that too. Far too many seniors quietly retreat into silence, believing it's just the way things have to be. But as Margaret showed us, sometimes the solution is far simpler than you'd ever imagine. A little knowledge, a little courage, a little care for yourself. That's all it takes to change everything. Take a moment today to check in with yourself or with someone you love. If you've noticed sounds getting harder to hear, voices feeling muffled, or even mild pain or ringing in your ears, don't ignore it. Try a safe home remedy like the garlic oil Margaret used, or see your doctor for a quick check. Either way, don't wait. Every day you hear clearly is a day filled with connection, joy, and meaning. And if you've already walked this path, if you've overcome hearing loss or found a solution that worked for you, please share your story. Your experience might just inspire someone else to take that first step. Because at the end of the day, hearing isn't just about sound, it's about being fully present for the people and moments that matter most. Take care of your ears and take care of yourself. You're worth it.